Imagine your business not just surviving, but thriving. Your wealth locked in, your opportunities exploding, and your family's future built on a legacy that never fades. I'm Leah Garcia, a financial strategist and insurance professional. I help entrepreneurs and high-growth enterprises protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth through my proven system, the Wall of Wealth. I unite your experts into one cohesive strategy because the most expensive line on your balance sheet isn't debt or taxes, it's conflicting advice. Ready to align every dollar with your mission and turn today's success into tomorrow's divine promise. Wealth today, dynasty tomorrow.
Happy Wealthy Wednesday, champions. Come on in, come on in. I hope you've got a spot of tea today for my amazing guest speaker. And yeah, let me know. We are live on Facebook. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on YouTube. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And come on in. Today's going to be incredible. I am super excited for my guest speaker. I had to move mountains. I had to swim across oceans. I had to do the happy dance and pray to the LinkedIn gods to get our guest speaker here today. Okay. It is no small feat. So come on in, grab your fuzzy slippers. Today's going to be a lot of fun, and we are going to learn a lot today. My incredible guest speaker today, he is a proud father of three, and he is a fully underpaid, full-time underpaid servant of his entire crew of dogs and cats and fish. But beyond that, beyond running the farm at home, he's also the founder and managing director of Global Media, a marketing publishing company he's been leading for over a decade. So around the world, he's known as the godfather of LinkedIn. Yes, he is. It's a godfather. If you know, you know. Events, and he's not only as cute as his nickname, he is a man that has hosted more audio rooms and live streaming events than anyone on the planet, period, bar none, end of story. He's also an 8-time #1 international best-selling author with his anthology, Lessons We Learned from COVID Through the Global Media. He's helped authors write and publish and actually sell their books online. And he has a 100% track record of turning authors into Amazon international bestsellers, every single one. And that's a legacy building right there. And he's not stopping there, though. He's got many more things to do, many more authors to highlight and to publish. And truly, that is truly what his dream is. He wants to empower people to dream big and take bold action. That is the core of what he's doing. He is a visionary, an author, a speaker, a motivational person, and really the godfather. And I really adore him because he is like me, and we believe that sleep is for the weak. I don't know. I don't sleep much, but I know this man doesn't sleep at all. Okay. Every time I go on somewhere, there he is. He's everywhere. And so if you know, you know, please give it up and give a warm round of applause, champions. Please put a one in the chat for Mr. Eni Onsong. Welcome to Wealthy Wednesday, my friend. How are you?
I'm so glad to be here. What an introduction. What an introduction. I feel humbled. I really do. I really do.
You're blushing. You're so cute.
I'm thinking, who wrote that? Was that me? Was that you?
Absolutely. Well, I'm very, very excited to have you. And I'm super excited about our topic, the money mind shift, how to make profits in business.
Yeah.
We are all here doing all of this that we do. At the end of the day, yes, we want to bring service. Yes, we want to bring value. Yes, we're here to build a community. But at some point, we have to monetize, right? If we don't monetize, we're not going to be here. We're going to have to go back and get a job. And none of us are trying to get one of those. We already had a, job acting as a business. No, we want to have a business now. We want to have a real business. So, Mr. Eni, for those of you who've been under a rock, aren't on LinkedIn, or just don't know, tell us a little bit about who you really are.
Who I really am. It sounds like an easy question, right? And I do this for other people every day. So, I get to speak. I'm quite nervous, but I'm not nervous. I'm just apprehensive. Excitedly apprehensive.
About?
About getting saying what I want to say. I say because my shows are more about my speakers who come on stage, right? They're more about
What?
Yeah, and that's it. And I turn up just to have. I turn up, and that's my jovial self. I love life. I'm a happy person, and I don't like the stress of anything, right? So I literally turn up, and I see how it unfolds. I'm lucky to have a community of people who will show up and talk and share their views, and I feed off them, right? Well, now it's just me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
You're looking at me. It's like, oh wow, how strange.
Oh my gosh. And I totally get what you're saying. I have had that experience recently. It's like, oh my gosh, you're interviewing me. Now, wait a minute. Let me talk more about you. Okay. Let me talk more about you because that's what I'm comfortable with. That's like, I mean, we could talk about ourselves, but we're just, yeah, I totally get it. But you are definitely somebody who truly, you are everywhere on LinkedIn, every nook, every cranny, every sideshow, every no-show. You are there highlighting, giving it your all, and really bringing the community together. Really, when I think of LinkedIn, truly, the first person that comes to mind is you, because you were there in the beginning for my real introduction, deep dive into LinkedIn. And I'm just so honored that we've had an opportunity to work together for many years now. We're doing a Motivation Monday with Eric and Friends. If you don't know this, but I'll tell you guys, I get up at 2:30 in the morning to be on a platform, incredible platform with the great Godfather. It's me, it's Zion, it's the great Eric F. King. And we have a great time. They're all in different time zones. It is 4 a.m. at my time zone, and we've been doing that now for a few years. So we really have had a chance to really get to know each other kind of behind the scenes a little bit more, So
we've done a lot of shows together as well. So if you and I did a show where you were the special guest, I want to talk about money. Of course, money is wealth is your thing, right? And that's if you say I don't sleep, Queen Leah, you
oh,
truth. You see, Queen Leah and I have this I think this great strategy of sleeping we have 2 parts of our day. That's why I do it, right? So I will work all night, much like you do. But sometime in the day I must sleep. So in the morning I tend to go to sleep, then I sleep till lunchtime, and then have my day, to next morning. It feels like having 2 days in one, right?
Wow. Yeah. So I don't do that at all. I literally am up and I sleep probably 5 or 6 hours a night. That's my natural thing. But I love that strategy though. So having like a 2-day, right? You're making 2 days in one. You have the morning, you take a little siesta, you do some self-care probably, spend some time with the family, and then you come back and have another. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've never thought of that. And I love it.
It works for me, and it makes my life, it feels less painful. You see, when I try and sleep, I guess because I've got so many things to do, and I can't sleep in peace. And there's that saying, rest in peace, right? I can't do it half the time because I think about what I have to do. So I must well get up and go and do it. It's much easier to just get up, go do it, and then I can sleep in peace. But that normally takes hours, and then suddenly when I look up, the time is gone. They say, my funny thing is, around big events like Christmas or New Year, I'll say to myself, you know what, Annie, stop work on the 23rd. Yeah. The 23rd comes, I'm like, just do one more thing. Just do one more thing. Do another one more thing. Next thing I know, it's 25th. I'm like, damn, it's Christmas and I'm still here. But this is, as I do this all my life. I went away recently from home. So I just came back a couple of days ago. So I knew I had to go. I knew I had to leave. I knew I had to drive 2 minutes, so 7 hours each way. But I thought, okay, make sure I'm ready. Go to sleep. Get to sleep at 10 o'clock in the evening. Wake up at 2 and drive from that. Drive all night, right? Next time,
Wow.
it's 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, damn, I'm still here. Oh.
You make it happen. I don't know how you do it, but you make it happen. The key is to me is to find your cadence.
Yes.
Like for me, I have a real strict wind down. Otherwise, I will do that. My mind will still get going. One more thing, one more thing. And so you found a way to kind of navigate that too. I want to welcome a few people who've joined us, a few champions we have in the audience here. It is my great, beautiful friend, amazing Miss Nick Angai Galindo. She is the brilliance behind guiding brilliant writers and also just an incredible woman, a woman that inspires me every single day. She is just out there being transparent. You talk about being authentic. If you want to know about being authentic, please connect with Miss Nick. And if you're looking to publish, you want to have a conversation with her. And also here is, she doesn't know this, but I actually put her in charge of my 4 a.m. club. She's the president and founder of my 4 a.m. club on Monday because she's there. She's in Arizona. It's 4 a.m. too. She's a Gita girl. All things that are with gratitude. She's an incredible poet and just somebody that is always spreading peace and blessings. Here she is right here, spreading peace and blessings. And who else do we have? A few more people have joined. Miss Sharon, my good friend, Miss Sharon. Thank you so much for joining us. She is actually a student loan specialist. If you are struggling with student debt, you're worried about student debt, you have somebody you know, maybe your children or grandchildren that are studying with student debt, you want to connect with her. She is just absolutely our incredible specialist, and she knows all the ins and outs. Don't try to navigate it on your own. Don't try to do that on your own. She can handle it and do all the heavy lifting for you. And Dr. Marcia, thank you for joining us. This woman has always got things going on. Dr. Marcia, let us know what you've got going on. I know you've got events going on. I'm trying to get her on my show, but I know her calendar is so full. Hopefully one day we'll be able to have her on the show soon. And my good friend Meryl, thank you for joining us. Oh, never apologize for the delay. We're always grateful when you are able to show up. You always bring wisdom and knowledge, and he's really the community advocate. He is sharing every one show. I don't know how he does this. I truly don't, but I'm so grateful when he does because sometimes I'm able to attend events that I wasn't aware that were going on. So let's talk about this, Mr. Annie. I know you'd rather just talk about me, but I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to let you do that.
I can just talk about anything, just to have fun, just being here with you, Queen Leah. Truly.
Well, we're definitely going to have some fun. We're going to bring some value too. So what about this mind shift to make profits in business? What do you think is one of the biggest challenges when it comes to somebody that you've seen? Maybe they've had a job before and now they want to be a full-time entrepreneur, or maybe they're already a full-time entrepreneur, small business owner. What do you think is the biggest thing, that the first hurdle that people face when it comes to earning some profits in business?
There's many things, there's many things that can get in the way of making money. Of course, we have to create a service that's useful. Yes, I always tell my friends we need to create something that people actually want and are willing to pay for. So I think that it starts there, but every day in business, making money is challenging. Marketing is challenging. You have to be able to know you exist, to care that you exist, to actually want to do business with you, that building trust. And these are all challenges. But I think that one of the fundamental things that we all struggle with, I struggle as well. So this is why I about this, and I'm about to write a book on the topic. It's the issue of pricing. How do you make sure the price is right? Can the price ever be right? You see, there's something about pricing, I think, is, we think of prices as not as numbers. What's the price? That's what people want to know, right? But I think there's a lot more to pricing than the numbers. I think pricing says a lot about us. Who are we really? It says a lot about what we believe about ourselves. It says a lot about what we believe about what we've created. And of course, now you want to hear people every day who say, "I don't care about money." You do. Stop lying to yourself. You do. Believe you me, you do, right? If you don't care about money, you're not really in business. What are you doing? Look, do your hobbies, fine. Now do it for free. That's cool, right? But if you're in business, making money is your number one priority, because without money, whether it's cash in your hand, cash in the bank, or however you're going to put it, right? If you have no money in your business, you can't pay the bills, you are bankrupt. Legally, you must close. So making money is our number one priority as a business. I know, but again, there's many ways I can frame those words I just said. I'm sure we'll come to them as time goes on, right? But without customers paying you good money, I use the word good money for a reason. Good means good. So many of us don't know how to make good money. And for all sorts of crazy reasons, but a lot of it is down to what we think, how we think, what we believe, our fears, our weirdisms. So I'm hoping to share some of that today and in my book. So again, maybe I'll end this part of the answer to say, when I started writing this book about pricing, I wrote it years ago, by the way. So I wrote the first draft years ago. And I wrote something called the Psychological Pricing Strategies. It was essentially, it's about 40 pages of how do you set your price. There's pricing models. So again, of course, I shared those in the book. Then so I'm about to rewrite it to actually publish it and put it out there. I realized it's not the numbers. It is our thinking. It's our mindset. So yes, I'm going to have some of the numbers in there, of course, but I'm going to run down the line of how we think, how we talk ourselves out of wealth, how we talk ourselves out. Wealth in business is called profits. How much you make more than you put into what it costs to make it, so to speak, right? If you sell products, it's a production cost. How much more you sell your service for becomes your profits. The margins, as we call it, right? And so many of us don't think of the margins. We just think of just doing and charging. We need to understand pricing. We need to understand the numbers in our business. We need to understand the margins. We need to understand where we can change, where we can increase or decrease those margins and the things that affect us. But the biggest thing that affects us in all of this is our fears, our weirdisms, our traumas. Maybe call it that, right? So let's talk about some of those things.
Woo!
Some lovely comments. So I'm sure
there was a lot of golden nuggets, a lot of gold bars in there. I want to unpack some things, and then I'm going to ask you a question, because this really brings up so many conversations that I have with people. And I love what you said, is that pricing says a lot about yourself. It's not really what it says about your product. It really says about who you are. What do you really believe? And people tell me all the time, "Oh, Leah, I don't care about money. I just want to help people. I don't care about money." Listen, money isn't everything. And I totally agree. It isn't everything, but it's right up there with oxygen. And if we can't put the oxygen mask on ourselves, how can we give the oxygen mask to anyone else? And hear what you said about, the fears. It's, how do we set our price? And a lot of it comes into everything. Our fear, what we believe, our weirdisms, our traumas, like all of that comes into it when we're an entrepreneur setting prices. I totally agree with that. And then I'm going to bring our Queen Dr. Leslie Flower. She's here. And if you want to talk about price, you want to talk about setting your goals, you got to get with her. She has her goal setting class coming up on December 3rd, I believe it is. You've got to get on this. I'm telling you, if you want to have 2026 be the best year of your life, you definitely have to do this. And I highly, highly recommend it. I took her class last year, and I will absolutely be there again today. So this is what happens. What I see is that people do this thing. I call it putting on the gas and the brake. They're working so hard. And I love this comment by Nick. She says, I got to sleep on 8 to 10 hours and then take a nap in the afternoon. Listen, that's your cadence. That's what your body needs. You've got to take care of yourself. I don't recommend anyone to do my schedule. Okay, I'm crazy, right? But I've been doing this schedule for many, many years. It's part of my natural way that I move. I don't sleep more than that. So if that's what you need, that's totally fine. But a lot of people will put on the gas and the brake. I refer to it that way. They're working hard. They're getting up early. They're staying up late. They're missing birthdays. They're working weekends. They're probably working on Thanksgiving. Their mind is going all the time. But when it comes to collecting the check, they almost act as though they are apologetic. You know, you don't really have to pay me all that. Or maybe they're not saying it, but they're thinking it in their heads. It's coming into the 6 inches right here. And so they automatically, even before they ask for the money, they start to discount their price. Have you seen that? And what do you think, if you have seen it, what is going on with people when they're doing that?
It's not only have I seen it, and I think I have been guilty of it. Now, this is the truth, right? You know, I can look at most people, and maybe everyone here, and say, there's a truth that we must face. None of us charge enough. None of us charge enough. You know, I challenge my friends every so often in my events I say to them, raise your price right now. Now, so there's a lot that we pack into what we believe about price. You know, if I raise my price, if I charge too much, I won't get customers. Not true. Not true. I mean, maybe it's true. You know, if your service, your products are junk, you know, maybe that's the case, right? You know, and then we say we lie to ourselves all the way. You know, there's too many lies we tell people. I hear it all, like you do, right? Oh, people can't afford it. Oh, the economy is bad. You know, so I can't charge that. Of course I can't. You know, and I think we get to believe these terrible stories of ourselves. You know, oh, I want to help people, so I can't charge that much. You know, here's one that I guess I drove my coach crazy with. You know, because I truly believed it, right? I truly believed I will raise my price when I can deliver more. I can find myself that. I will raise my price to where it should be when I can actually serve people correctly. These are all illusions. Like, it's lies we tell ourselves.
Right.
You know, there's no shortage of money. The question really is, are people willing to spend it with you? You know, are you brave enough to put the value that you give as a number?
Right.
You know, if you are, you win. If you don't, you know, you just look at it as, you know, you're leaving money on the table every time you do a transaction. Every time you sell to someone, you get a customer. You know, you can either leave money on the table, or you can get the money that you deserve. That they know, because it's not about the customer not being willing to pay. It's whether you're willing to ask for the right amount of money. And many of us, however, we have no idea what that number is. You know, I sympathize. Like I said, I've been there. I've seen it. You know, again, I think there's many ways that we can work out price. You know, if you want to price a product you can look around you and see what others are doing. For example, what do others charge for similar product? See, that's just one model. So they're the competitive pricing. See, but many of us deliver services. Now, you deliver services with Leah, right? I'm saying it's not a tangible product in that sense. So it's very hard to compare ourselves to others. But even comparing yourself to others is it's a cheap, gimmicky way to say it. I will explain why if I get a chance, right? Like, so when you compare yourself to others, you're thinking, for what I do, I'm a coach, for example. What I do, there's a high price, 10 grand coach, $10,000 coaches. There's also the $20 coaches. There's the free ones. Where do you put yourself?
Right.
See, most of us we'll put ourselves at the very bottom. Again, look, let me tell you a story. See, when I started in business in 2015, I was a marketing pioneer. It's a branding thing, right? Marketing, and my logo was a pineapple. Why pineapple, Quinley? I hear you ask. Why pineapple? Okay, see, the pineapple is the most high nutrient fruit.
I love pineapples. Yep.
Right. It's also the one with the least number of calories. So low cost, high value was my model. And you know what? I set that to charge ridiculously low. I'm saying $150, £150. So $200, they're barely that these days, right? For everything. I'll do your social media, I'll do your emails, I'll do your website, I'll do your everything.
Wow.
And it took me a good couple of years to realize I've just been silly. It didn't get me customers because people are looking and thinking, any for this price, what do you actually make? Maybe you can't do anything. And again, it says a lot about me, right? And I think there's always this race to the bottom when you start making others what they charge your baseline. Because you want to undercut, undercut the market. If that's a game you're playing, I think you're on the race to the bottom. Someone else is going to come and undercut your price. Now you have two choices: lower the quality or lower the quality. That way I can charge you less. Which one are you going to choose? Either way, you're doomed. So comparing yourself to others, seeing what they charge, it's not the wisest option. There's no way around it. You have to find a way to set a price that you believe in. Like, you said it just now, right? We have to believe in the price we're charging. A prospect, when you sit with them, again, we've all been there. I've been there. How much do you charge? And what? How much do you charge? I learned this from Eric, our friend Eric. State your price with confidence.
Right.
Why the person listening is not going to have any confidence in what you're saying, your price or your product or your service. If you are nervous about your pricing, look, practice it. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, here's my price. The first few times you feel silly. Of course you will. But unless you believe it, no one's going to believe you either. If no one believes you, they will never say yes to pay your price. You have to believe in your soul that what I'm doing, what I'm offering, what I'm delivering is worth this figure. But that's the journey for many of us.
Yeah, that is so brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. And I would add to that too, is that what I've seen, yes, I agree. Practice it in the mirror, practice it with your dog, practice it until it feels natural. So you can say it with confidence and you believe that you are worth that, whatever that number is. And then like Eric teaches us, and then triple it, right? It's probably still too low. And also what I've learned and this is unfortunate, but if you discount your price, especially in the beginning, those are the people who are generally going to be nickel and diming you for everything. They're going to question everything. They're going to think that this doesn't work. They're going to think that why is it so cheap? Then they're wondering, why is it so little? You know, my hardest clients, my most difficult clients are the clients that have very little money. When somebody comes to me and they've got, $10,000, $50,000 to invest, and they're just coming from a place of scarcity a lot of times. My easiest clients are the ones that have hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. They're like, yeah, let's move forward. This sounds good. So it's kind of an ebb and flow. And something that came to my mind, because I remember Queen Dr. Leslie Flowers is talking about, it's a fear, right? It's this fear of poverty. That fear, I think, also plays into it. What would you add to that, Annie?
Yeah, the fear of poverty. Again, it's an illness many of us have, right? So the first thing I would say is this, because I've had staff, and so I've had staff who cost me a lot of money. Normally, that's a UK staff. Then I switched to a model of having people in Nigeria, in Uganda, in Kenya, to do freelance work for me instead. So I say that's where I saw the biggest fear of poverty probably the most. But again, I say it affects us too. See, one of the biggest dilemmas, challenges we have in business is we don't feel comfortable charging a price that we've never paid. Ooh, where we gone? We've gone somewhere. Quick, come back. My screen went blank, right? Like I was saying, we don't feel comfortably charging a price that we're not willing to pay ourselves. If we never paid that price, we just can't get our head and our hearts around it. So when it came to my staff in Africa especially, without team meetings with me, here's the price. Here's what we are. We offer events. We do publishing, there's a price. We do events, there's a price. We do everything, there's a price, right? And they're like, yeah. And then you realize that they could not say the words to anyone, because in their heart they're thinking, I've never paid that price for anything. I've never even seen that sort of money. So it was like in their head already, they're telling themselves, no one's gonna pay it. Nothing is worth that. Yeah. See, that's the real fear of poverty, the fear of because we can't afford that sort of thing, no one else can either. Like I say, money is not scarce. People have money. People make money every day in downturns, in hard times, in winter, in summer. People make money, right? People are making money right now. It's whether we want to be part of that or whether we want to keep telling ourselves, that they make money. Othering people rather than seeing ourselves as the ones who make money. I suppose the other fear of poverty, Queen Leah, is this thing about money is not important.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine where it comes from, because it's the most ridiculous idea ever, right? So given a choice, I think when I was younger, I told myself, I had two options. I was probably about 16. I said to myself, you've got two options then. Either you're going to be the landlord or you're going to be the tenant.
Ooh.
Take your pick. That's what's got my life this far. I chose to be the landlord because I'm not. I'd rather people pay me to live the life I want to live than me have to pay them to give them the life they want to live. It's a fine distinction, right? It really is. So I think that to say you don't want money is almost like it's denying what's in your heart. I can never understand why people say that. Maybe it's fear of the effort it takes to make money. Maybe it's because at the heart of a business is delivering something to people, right? And I've had this conversation with many of my friends, my clients and my friends. I say, so in this conversation about, don't worry about the money, deliver value, create something that people need, they're willing to pay you for, that solves the problem. If you do that, they will pay you whatever you want to charge. Unless you do that, they will pay you nowhere near what you think you want to make. And then if you don't want money, this is the final one I'll use for look, you've got two choices. You can either tell your gods that you want more money, the universe will bless you with more money, or tell yourself, or tell your gods, I don't want more money, and the universe will do exactly what you ask. Make money run away from you. You get no customers. You have the low value customers. Those low value customers, they cost us money. So they want the most. They always want the most. And look, as a marketer, let me tell you, it's much easier to do marketing with a budget than with someone who has no budget, who has very little budget, because you can't do anything. You can test and say, I had one recently, I had a fashion brand. And I was like, okay, look, we've done this silly TikTok videos. We've done those, and I've got loads of views, but we've got people coming to your website, they're not buying. Let's improve the website. Let's fundamentally change the website. Oh, I can't afford it. Let me tinker with this, with that. I'm saying, no, you need a fundamental change of your website, right? There's a second thing. So then I thought, okay, just to show you, we run ads on Facebook. I've got 14,400 visitors that clicked on it to go to the website. They're still not buying. I'm like, me, I told you the answer. Number one, change the website. Redo the website. Number two, find the time to show up in these spaces on Facebook, on LinkedIn, at events like this, and be the face of your business. But because he wasn't willing to spend the money, nothing changed. Years ago, I would have felt bad about it, but I said, now I realize all I can do is present you with the data and give you the advice that I can give you. But those who have money, it's so much easier to do what you have, to optimize their business, their look, their brand, and get the message out there. And where you go, you do that repeatedly, you can make you a lot more money than you spend. But if you're a poor customer, it's nearly impossible. It takes longer, and it's more painful for us to do what we do. It's hard to help someone who has no money at all. But again, sometimes we're that person who has no money. That's why we need to make money. So we're not that person.
Oh my gosh, I love it. You made me think of one of my quotes that I love. They say, money doesn't buy happiness, it's true, but broke doesn't buy anything. Right, broke doesn't buy anything. This is so brilliant. And what I also would say is this. I do have clients who have very small amounts of money. I have a lot of clients with that. But they're the anomaly. They're the ones that are ready. They're like, you know what? What I've done hasn't worked. Will you help me? And absolutely. I have one client that we started a $1 a week saving and investment plan. So it's not that I will not help people with smaller amounts of money. I absolutely do. I do it all the time. But they're the ones I know that are willing to take the step forward. They're willing to get uncomfortable. I love this comment by Miss Christina Salgato. And I want to welcome also Miss Joni Hargrave. She said her favorite people are here. She calls you her Annie Boo.
It's love with Joni. It's love with Joni.
We love our Joni Boo. We love you, Joni Boo. This is a brilliant comment by Miss Christina Salgato. If you don't know her, if you're looking for marketing and branding, she does some incredible stuff. She posts amazing things. She's absolutely also a gifted and talented poet. She's just fun to follow on LinkedIn and all her social platforms. She says, some people feel bad about asking for the right amount of money, like if it was a dirty word, but it's a statement that says, I bring value. I think that's a great comment. Yeah, it really is.
100%. So time goes so quick on these shows. I'm amazed at 43 minutes already, right? Like Christina, look, this is the heart of my point. And I think it's a positive mindset, a growth mindset. So it tells us create something of value. That's where this starts, right? Maybe if you create something that people want and they're willing to pay you for, something that helps them and solves a problem, you can literally charge whatever you like.
Yeah.
And they will pay you because you're going to solve their problem. Now, people will pay through the nose to have that problem solved. But if we don't create something of value, it's very hard to then convince ourselves that your customer is going to walk away saying, I got money, I got value for money. If the customers can't say that, you're in trouble, right? The value you create is everything. There must be a number on it, right? That's pricing challenge. So what does Sharon says? I love money, I care about money and helping people, but yeah, I agree. When we get paid for helping others, yes, we all do, right? And there are people who pay us when we help them. Is a solution that would deliver that people pay for.
That's it. That's the key. That is the key. If I told you that I charged a client recently $30,000, you would say, oh my gosh, that's so much money. But if you knew that we saved him almost, over $1 million in taxes, you'd say, wow, that's a bargain. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a matter of what are you truly bringing the value and understanding that people will pay to solve their pain. If it's like the thorn in the paw. I think there's like a little metaphor about that. But if somebody will relieve your pain and they're going to take care of you, they're going to do the right thing, they're going to suture you up, they're going to use all the antiseptic and put you on a better path, then they will pay because they know that you have the answer. And so it really comes from understanding and believing who you are. Do you value your worth? And here's the other part to that is that when people push it away, this is what I always ask them. Maybe you don't need the money, you don't want the money, but who do you know that is tied to your red wagon who does? Maybe it's a child, a grandchild, a parent, a friend. Maybe it's a charity, an organization. Maybe you want to start your own nonprofit. There's always somebody tied to us who would benefit from the abundance that you have. And so when we're pushing it away, we're not pushing away it from us. We're pushing it away from being a blessing to others. I am blessed so that I can be a blessing to others. I'm going to stand on that. That's my mic drop moment. That's what
So you should look. Here's a quote, Quindia. When we get to the Jeff Bezos level of wealth, right? Then we can start worrying about what do we do with excess money. Most of us are not even close. That's the problem. We're worried about something we haven't got. So let's not worry about how we're going to spend what we haven't got and what we're going to do with the excess. Because let's get the basics right. So get your pricing right, get a system of making money right. But then one day you might have that dilemma that you talk about. But for most people, you never get it because of the way we think about money and because our money mindset is so, I call it wonky, it's a British word, right? It's a bit, it's not straight. You need to get our money mindset correct. Again, I'm talking about pricing today, but it's not really pricing. It's knowing your numbers. See, I will say this. My first business coach. The thing I learned from them was know your numbers. Know your numbers. Know your numbers. The numbers matter more than anything else.
Right.
If you don't know your numbers, like profits and loss, income, outgoing, your profit margins, cost per acquisition of customer. You do marketing. What's it costing you to get a customer? And what's the customer value? How much does each customer spend with you? See, when you know that these basic numbers in your business, they're basic numbers, right? Then you can begin to work out how to optimize them. Because that's not something you realize. If you're spending X amount to acquire each customer, and they're not spending as much with you to make it worth your while, your marketing is a loss maker. It's costing you money. That's a disaster. It's unsustainable, right? Then you have to find again saying my coach, I used to have him banging on the desk in rage. I was like everyone else in denial. We're talking 10 years ago, right? And literally, so one day it's like, you can't never fill a leaky bucket. I'm like, what? Right. In other words, however much you get new customers, however much you put on top, how much income you make, if you are literally pissing out water, customers and money every day, the bucket will never get full. That was a realization for me. I have to make the business more solid, deliver better products. Have a system to actually do work, have a pricing that actually does work. See, then that seals your holes in your bucket. You're not losing money willy-nilly. Literally, then means when you add a new customer, you can see the difference, you can see the value, the money sticks. It amounts to something. Rather than you gain one, you lose one. You gain worse, you gain one, you lose two.
Say that again for the people in the back.
Look, you can't have it where you gain a customer and lose a customer. Because you're at a loss making. That's a loss making business. That would not last. If you're getting one customer in and losing two, how long is that going to last? Seriously, look at your business, my friends. We need to keep getting new customers, but we need to fix our business to make sure that our systems are right. Our processes are correct. Our pricing is right. And then each customer will give us money, wealth, income, revenue, profits. This is a lesson that we have to learn.
Yeah. And I'm not sure, Joni, what your comment, what you're alluding to, working can sometimes overshadow some nerves you have with real life. Does that make sense to you, Ani? I'm kind of missing this.
We can tell ourselves we're busy, busy fools. We're working, and I'm busy, I'm doing. Rather than facing up to our truths. Hence my point just now. You get as many customers in as you like, do as many jobs as you like. But if you're not charging the right money, if your business is truly leaking, has holes all over it, you're in trouble. One day you're gonna have to sit down with yourself and face your truth. I think that's what Joni is saying. I say, we can feel what we like, but one day we have to address this pricing issue. We must.
Yeah, and I love this, Meryl. See, Meryl is in the comments, but he's always bringing value. He's sharing links, he's sharing YouTubes, and he's lifting up others. And I just love that, because when you lift up others, what happens, Meryl, is that light automatically through osmosis shines on you. We value you so much, Meryl. I always appreciate. I know you have a full schedule, but whenever you can pop by, I absolutely do treasure those times. He said, if you're looking for mindset, right, we have our Queen Dr. Leslie Flowers. We have Sean Michael, who's a new friend of mine. He was on my show recently. Angie Alexander. I don't know Angie Alexander. I'd love to get an introduction.
I haven't met her yet either. Dr. Tanya would know is a genius.
Yes.
Mindset.
And of course, the great Zion, Mr. Positive Energy. We know him. We share the stage with him every Motivation Monday.
You see, I would add my mindset coach who's transformed my life, my business, Donna Martin. She's a true legend for getting me to look at myself. I say again, look, many of these shows, Queen Leah, people come to listen, they hear, right? And again, it's a human condition where we think we can apply what we hear. Let me tell you now, referring to Meryl's post, Meryl's list of people, right? We need to talk to a mindset coach. We need to talk to a marketing expert. We need to talk to a wealth management person like you. We can try and fudge the things in life that professionals do, you're
Yeah.
not going to win. Because now, as much as we talk, we're not going to tell you the fine details, the things that you don't know. We all have a special sauce for what we do. All those coaches that Meryl mentioned, they've got a special sauce. Now, Donna's thing is business. She comes from a mindset from a business perspective. I said we know that Dr. Leslie Flowers comes to it from a goal setting, goal achievement perspective. I said you're not going to know what they know unless you actually do talk to them and you're willing to pay them. That's our money question, my friends. If you're struggling to pay for high value services, you need more money. You need more. You need to increase your price. You need to deliver more. It's a vicious cycle that people don't do. They don't make the link, Winley. If you haven't got enough money to buy what you want, you need wealth, real wealth. You need to have more than enough. Again, to many of us in poverty mindset, we think, I just want enough to pay my bills. That's not going to wash. Because, life will give you enough to pay your bills. We have to have this mindset of abundance, genuine abundance. Wealth is called. Real wealth. So much money, I don't know what to do with it. Yeah, I want that problem. I don't think it's scarcity. I just want the basics. No. I want the Bentley. I want the £200,000 car. Of course I do.
Yes.
Why not?
That's right. I just want to be comfortable are the worst words ever spoken in the English language. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. We want to be abundance. We want to have abundance. Listen, we receive out of abundance so that we can give out of abundance. This is an incredible comment by the great Christina Sargato. I love this comment. I think there are a lot of door openers that offer to give a sample of what is possible. However, we have to price our programs and offers knowing our value, and then we will deliver that transformation. Totally. So having those introduction offers.
Please put it back up. And I say I'll talk about that as well. I agree with you. It's an important.
Yeah, the introduction offers, the ebooks, like my free ebook, and he's got tons of free stuff. He gives a lot of value, a lot of content that brings a lot of value. And when you do that, then you have the right, you've earned the right to ask for the bigger value, right? When you bring the value and they see that ebook, maybe it's free, maybe it's low cost, and you give more than what they ever anticipated, you share knowledge that is not common knowledge, you showcase your specialized knowledge, then people go, oh yeah, okay, this is a person that I want to work with. So I love that, Christina. That's brilliant.
For sure. There is, again, Christina said it's a value that we have to focus on, the transformation that we bring, right? See, here's a problem with, I guess, door opener offers. Right? So we tend to go with, there's one, freemium, right? So essentially it's free used to start. Now, Zoom did this. Many people do. Zoom did this for a long time, right? Then suddenly you turn it into premium, so you put a price on it. People hate to go from free to pay. It's a psychology thing. I hate to go from free. No, see, if I use StreamYard as an example, StreamYard, they've hiked their price since this live stream came in. Well, StreamYard's been there for years. Of course they have, right? But as soon as they got LinkedIn's customers, LinkedIn audio customers, they hike the price. They hike the price again, right? But what do we get, Quinlia? We get improvements every day. Now, this thing on the left, this mobile thing, that's new. Every day we turn on StreamYard. Right. You have to watch some long video about what they've changed and improved. They're improving the picture quality, they're improving the sound, they improve everything.
Yeah.
The mistakes that we saw on day one, they're going slowly but sure. I'm saying, right, if you're going to willing to improve your service, then you can charge more. Like if I use Zoom as an example, nothing's changed. So I'm like, I'm not going to pay you. I'll stay on the free, thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
From freemium to premium is very, very hard. See, the other thing is this: there's something called penetration price. Right? So you charge very low to get people to at least try your products and service. See, the problem with that is trying to get them to pay the right price later on is so hard because now they've got used to you at low price. This is same as giving discounts. You know, if you don't charge the right price, people get psychologically and physically fixated on your low price, and how to move them on is harder than you think. You know, it's whether you're brave enough, as Christina says, go with the value you give, go with the transformation you give, and tell them, here's what it's worth. This is it. This is a number. You know, I mean, you can start high. Something called skimming. You can start high and then lower your price to find your place in the market. Yeah, you know, so that's just another. There's so many pricing models out there. At the heart of this, my friends, is what's in your head. If you don't believe your product is worth, your service is worth that price, you're doomed. Yeah, you must work on that. But go and talk to the mindset coach. Go and talk to Shawn Michael and say, I love Shawn. You know, because it talks about, you know, your inner potential, your inner identity, right? Now, go and talk to Dr. Leslie. Talk to the best mindset coaches there are out there. Because our thinking is what leads us so much.
Yeah, I love this comment, Shawn Michael. We should do an event on this. We should do a show together. Practice until your system doesn't flinch. I would love to collaborate with you, Shawn Michael. I think that is a brilliant, brilliant topic. And I don't know what you sparked. And you talked about pineapples. Now, apparently, Nick is making a pineapple upside down cake. We got all kinds of pineapple comments in there. If you don't know Nick, I'm telling you.
You love a pineapple upside down cake. You know, when I was a kid, I haven't had that in the last 30 years. So I would love to have some of that. For sure, Nick. Now, pineapple upside down.
Oh my gosh. I want to be invited to Nick's house because she cooks it up for her man. I'm telling you, she puts it down. I'm seeing her. If you're not following her on Facebook, she shares a lot of what she does on Facebook. I said, oh, that looks so good. Because, you know, meanwhile, I'm like having a banana. You know what I mean? Like,
no, Nick always shows her good food as well, doesn't she? Like, she show her good food in her posts as well.
Yeah, for sure. I want to welcome Colin. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Yeah, and if you guys need to jump on over to YouTube, my YouTube channel is Wall of Wealth. You can go ahead and join us over there if that's working better for you. I know LinkedIn sometimes can be a little wonky when it comes to this. And I think at the end of the day, Godfather, it comes down to how do we make more profits in business? It comes down to our thinking. We got to wash our brain. We got to get rid of our stinking thinking. It's this 6 inches between the ear. It's what we talk ourselves out of.
Yes.
We get all brave and, you know, everything. And then when it comes to collecting the check, we suddenly start discounting it. Well, would you pay this much? Does that make sense? I mean, how do you feel about it? You start negotiating the price, right? Stop negotiating the price.
No, again, look, you can do deals for your friends, right? And I said, no, you can do deals for people if you choose. No, I have nothing against. I do really, but no, I will understand the person that says, you know what, I would charge some people the right price, and I might give away something to some other people who really can't afford what I do, but they want what I do. I think it's a silly model to have because you're going to attract more of those people who don't want to pay you, but they want your service. I just say no. I can't help you. You see, I'd rather work with you to develop the money mindset to make more money. That way you can pay me. Now that's what I'm more interested in that than lowering my price for anyone, right? But no, but then again, there was a comment earlier. I think it was by Nick or Sharon Rose. Like your retaining your customers, getting the customer to pay you more than once. That's golden. You know, so I will happily lower the price for repeat business. Because there's no marketing costs to acquire them, you know, and you pay the marketing costs already, right? There's no, you know who they are, you know how they work, they know how you work. So all that whole building a relationship, it's now you can get to work quicker and deliver quicker, right? Simple as that. If you can retain customers, if you can get people to pay you more than once, you never go broke.
Right.
Seriously, especially if you charge the right price, right? This is how business. This is what business is built on. This is why you get the buy two get one free offers, and I buy three get one. It's a retention multiplier issue, right? Now, how do we implement that in our business? Yeah. See, if you have loyal customers who are paying, you can logically reduce your price. Skim something off the top, make it just to make them happy, right? See, the other way is lowering the price for new customers, which makes me feel ill half the time. And I'd rather repay my loyal customers than punish my loyal customers whilst giving a price to attract new customers who I don't know how to get on with. I don't know if they're going to do what I want now. I don't know if they have what we need to make them successful. So work on the loyalty in your business. If you do that, you can move your price a bit, but I still make a lot more money. Exactly.
I don't know where this. Yeah, I don't know where this hour has gone. See, you're accustomed to having 5-hour events. Is what happens here. But unfortunately, we only go an hour here. I know we should have it again. We could talk all day. And I want to address this comment here. She said, what if someone can't afford it? They don't have $50,000 sitting in the bank. Don't they deserve do they deserve less of an opportunity? No, they absolutely deserve an opportunity. I would say, the clients in the past who had lower amounts of money, I didn't understand how to really help them through that because they had a lot of fear. Now the people that come to me, if they've got $1, they've got $50, it's not about how much money they have. It's that they're willing to move forward. And my clients who really, a lot of times, have those lower pockets of money that they want to invest or the programs they want to set up are the ones that probably treat me. They're so grateful. They feed me. They refer me. They open doors for me. They look to share my content because they're so appreciative. Right? It's a mindset thing. It's a mind shift. The ones that are ready are the ones that gravitate towards me. And I'm very, very honored for that, for sure. And I love this comment too by Jackie. She said she loves the comment of the red wagon. And Miss Jackie, I'm going to be collaborating with her very, very soon.
Excellent. Look, I agree, Nick. We can't lower our prices and feel like you're at a loss. Because I say that you don't know what people with resentment. Look, there's many ways. There's 3 ways I probably look at the customers who can't afford my service. Number 1 is to say to them, look, there's someone whose service you can't afford. There's someone who's willing to do the work at the price that you're offering. It's just not me. Sorry. If you want me to do it, there's a price that I charge, right? That's number 1.
Right.
So go and find someone who's at that level. And option 2, like I said earlier, is how can we raise their quality, their income, their value, so they can make the money to pay me.
Right.
So I think that's where the truth really lies, right? If they can apply the things we're talking about, because look, everyone has infinite potential. Everyone can create greatness. Are they willing to work to create greatness? If they are, and they really want me to work with them, that's what they're gonna have to make the money somehow, right? And if they do that, Nick, then they will become transformed, as Christina mentioned earlier. They'll have a better business, more income, a happier life, and they can pay for what they want. That's what we need to get, that financial freedom, right? So those are the 2 main things I would say. So maybe the last one I would say, the third one is, they can go on my pro bono list. Again, if I've served so many customers who are paying the right money, I might have space to do some charity work. But it doesn't help them, Nick. It doesn't help them. If someone can't afford you, they can't afford you. Now, you can't go to a shop and say, I want a tin of baked beans. I can't afford it, but I want it. The shop, no one's going to answer you. They just look at you and go, have you lost your mind? Don't even ask because the answer is no. Don't ask. Just leave without debate.
Just like, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. This is kind of getting off the rails here. Oh my gosh, Annie, this has been so much fun. I always love sharing the stage with you. It's such an honor. And so you made some new fans and friends, reconnected with some old fans and friends. But for the new people who don't know you, want to connect with you, what is the best way for people to reach you?
The simplest way, I'm almost always on LinkedIn. Almost always. That's the best way. Some of my trusted friends get on my WhatsApp. Because again, in this part of the world, WhatsApp is important. In the US, I know it's not so well used. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Let's have a conversation. I do know people here. My profile in the link in the comments.
Yes, please do. Please reach out to Annie, the Godfather. And I love this comment here. I didn't know you were the marathon man also, Godfather. You're the Godfather marathon man. You're the one that's always on it. You never.
It means events. It doesn't mean physically 20.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Me and 26 miles, Queen. Yeah, we're never gonna meet. My wife does marathons, and not me. I'm like,
okay,
nah.
Okay. I said, wow, I didn't know that.
No, it's not me. No, okay. I'm far too big and too lazy. I can't even contemplate the idea of running a mile, let alone 26 miles.
I thought it was something you were hiding from me that I didn't know about you. I thought I was going to learn something new about you today. Well, this has been a lot of fun. You brought so much value. I knew that you were going to bring your golden nuggets, and you definitely brought them, because it really, at the end of the day, if we want to make profits in business, we really have to deal with the foundation. To me, the infrastructure is our thinking, because if we don't get that right, if we don't adjust our thinking, nothing else we do will prosper. And here's the thing, even if it does, you'll push it away. Let me say that again. Even if you do somehow trip over a rock and you stumble and fall and you end up with buckets of money, abundance, you're going to somehow find a way to push it away. And we don't want to do that, right? Because we know our wealth today should be our dynasty tomorrow. Listen, we said this was 2026. This was your year to go ahead. I'm sorry. We said it was 2025 was our year to rise up and thrive. And how many of us are thriving? Are you thriving? Did you thrive in your business? And if you didn't, that's okay, because 2026 is around the corner. And guess what? It is your year to get in the mix. It is your year to get out of the shadows and start getting into the comments, to start connecting with others, to start pulling back the curtains and really showcasing your brilliance of who you are. This is your opportunity. If you're looking for that opportunity, you want to be a guest speaker, I would love to chat with you, because I'm all about showcasing and highlighting others. And I know it's about the collaboration. Collaboration is our new currency. So remember, your wealth today should be and could be your dynasty tomorrow, but only if we put the foundation in place. I invite you to download my free ebook, The Wall of Wealth. And beyond that, I'd love to have a coffee chat with you if I haven't already. Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you. We are here every single Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Even if things go a little wonky, we're still here, right, Christina? We still show up. Champions show up. Doesn't matter. We perform regardless of how we feel. So thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you so much, Team Live. And if you're on Team Replay, you're on YouTube, wherever you are, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. And share this with somebody who has a business. Share this with another entrepreneur who is struggling with their prices, or they want to know how to increase their pricing, or they're curious about what this is all about. So thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you, and enjoy the rest of your Wealthy Wednesday. Have an incredible Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you enjoy your Thanksgiving too. Thank you, Queen Leah. Amazing to be on your show. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all the amazing comments.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate the comments. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Are you ready to take control of your financial future? Introducing Leah Garcia's Wall of Wealth, the ultimate one-page financial plan to protect, distribute, and transfer your wealth with confidence. Whether you're a business owner or just starting your financial journey, this step-by-step guide gives you the tools to create a solid foundation for long-term success. Don't wait to transform your money mind shift. Download your free copy today at leahgarcia.io and start building your wall of wealth now.